And so it's all come to this, the final weekend of 2024 Autumn Nations. What a weekend we've got ahead, but also it's just come so soon. We've had 3 main game weeks, 4 if you count in week 0, and it's just not enough. I know the Six Nations is 5, we've had, let's say, 4 weekends, but it's come quite abruptly, so not looking forward to after this weekend when it ends. But not to start on a sad note, and rather let's start on a positive note. Last weekend scored just under 500 points, 495, which for the game week took me just in the top 800, which was not bad. I think captain wise, obviously Graham did superb for me on the opening weekend, but only got 33 points, which obviously 66 doubled. Fortunately, I had people like Reed, Bayliss, Jordan who got man of the match. McCarthy also got man of the match, so boosted my points up a little bit. But overall, a lot of people who were in the 20s, which wasn't the best. Fortunately, I think it was a relatively low scoring game week. I think Ireland definitely backed the wrong back 3 player in low. Should have definitely gone for Ramos. And there weren't too many high scoring, like for Scotland for example, 59-21, but there weren't too many high scoring individuals, apart from obviously the 3 that I've got here. And then outside of that, of course we can only pick Six Nations teams, so France was probably the only one I should have backed instead of, let's say, Ireland. But if we're having a quick look at the rankings, in JG Rugby, I am 6th, which is actually not that bad. Luke Ashman is still top. My overall is just over 1,600. So that's not too bad, I would say. But then in JG Rugby 2, we have Tito, who I think is over 1,800. And you'll see on the next slide, he's also top in the whole of the game, which is pretty nuts. So Tito, backing you for this weekend. Hopefully we can give you some insights which takes you to the top. Of course, for this weekend, a few fixtures that I'm back in. We kick off with France versus Argentina. Would definitely back France. What a performance against New Zealand last week. Will they be coming off pretty hard game? Well, definitely. But also, I think France at home, Argentina, is just a pretty decent fixture, to be fair. They're changing their team around slightly, but still have their core players there, so I'm definitely backing France. Fixture to target next on Saturday, Ireland-Fiji, 100%. Fiji, not been at the races, obviously beat Wales, but Wales pretty poor at the moment. Definitely back Ireland. They do have a changed team, so it could be closer than we think, but that is just a great fixture. If I were you, I'd leave Wales, South Africa, and then also Italy, New Zealand. Not good fixtures for these Six Nations teams. But then, feel free, Scotland, Australia, can pick some Scottish players. Obviously, time of recording, the teams aren't out, so just have a look at who they pick. I would imagine it's a pretty full strength team. And then, probably the fixture to target of the weekend is England-Japan. Again, England's team isn't out yet, so we may have some tinkering with this team, but England-Japan is by far the best fixture of this game week, so I'd be targeting English players for sure. As always, before we hop into my team selection for this game week, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on to never miss a video. Obviously, we're coming to an end now with Autumn Nations, but you know we'll be back for the Six Nations. So, kicking off as per usual in the front row, kept it pretty similar. I've gone Andrew Porter and Jean-Baptiste Gross at props, pretty solid and have good fixtures, and then I've brought back Peter Marvaca. Scored around 60 points for me when I had him in, so he's in again to disrupt that Argentinian pack. In the second row, I've kept the pairing of Tyke Byrne and James McCarthy. I think against Fiji, they're going to have a whale of time both in the line out but also in the loose, hopefully carrying pretty well. They also both love to sit wide. Tyke Byrne could have scored like 2 tries last week easily, and obviously James McCarthy was man of the match, so I think those both are a pretty decent pick. Outside of that, Itoje is probably the next second row that I'd pick. In the back row, actually close to captaining a few here. Caelan Doris, obviously we know he's in, may get substituted because obviously it's Fiji, so we don't know, but I was also thinking the same with Van der Fleer. Has picked up a few knocks, so I have gone with Doris instead. Then we've gone the England pair, Cunningham South, scored 2 tries 2 weeks ago, so not a bad return against Australia, I believe it was. And then I have obviously gone with Ben Earl. Brilliant fixture against Japan and probably England's best player for the past year. Was tempted to captain him, but I think given how the game and the point system works in this game, gone with someone else. But obviously not having England's full team sheet out yet, this is obviously provisional. At halfbacks, kept in Dupont because he's Antoine Dupont. I don't think much more is needed to be said there. But I have reverted back to Marcus Smith. Tom Jordan obviously did nothing wrong, got man of the match, kicked a few goals as well. But I think if Smith does start, and is unlikely to be rotated, I would say, against Japan, then Smith, the way he plays, and he's also on kicking duties, I think he'll rack up a mile and shed loads of points. Obviously, he's most expensive player in the game, but I think he proves that. I think he's got like an average of 44 points a game, which is not bad at all. And with England not winning a game, they'll want to go hard in this one, I'm sure of it, so that's why I've backed Smith. In the centres, I've gone with Aki, who is back in. Henshaw took his place last week, but now it's Aki and Henshaw who are in the centres together. Ringrose misses out. I think they're just trying a few different combinations, but Aki, looking at that back line, just offers something different that no one else does. And I think they'll use him as a nice ploy, let's say first 30 minutes of the game, trucking it up, and then when the game gets loose and scrappy, which it does against Fiji, that's when the back three will come into play. So Aki, I'm hoping for a decent, and if not man of the match performance, to be honest, because he obviously missed out last time. And then I've gone with Ollie Lawrence, again, expecting him to play, but not green flagged at the moment. Just pretty much the same as Aki. Again, that Japanese defence, you do expect it not to be ideal against England, but Lawrence is just going to provide those cutting lines back against the grain, so just adds a little bit different to that back line. And finally, in the back three, I've gone with a mix here, and to be fair, I haven't locked in straight away. I have gone with Stockdale. That is because, one, it's a good fixture, but two, he's back in the side for I don't know how many years it is, so it's great to see him back in. He's also something like 10 stars, which is ridiculously cheap, especially for an Irish winger against Fiji. But I am apprehensive to see how he does. Obviously, he hasn't played for Ireland in a while, so that's definitely my main bugbearer. Then Tomo Ramos, I think we all know what he does. He will just kick the goals, obviously playing 10, kick the goals, a few assists last week as well against New Zealand, so definitely just should have put him in. But I won't miss the boat this time. Argentina will be fierce, so goal kicking will definitely be crucial in this game. But also, being the last weekend, I think they're going to throw it about a bit. So hopefully he can get some good assists again. And then, might be thinking a bit of a strange pick, but I have backed Ollie Slightholme. Got a try last weekend against South Africa. Have backed him again to start. Faber Bosa is obviously out. Again, this depends on England's side. Slightholme might not pick up a start. It might be, let's say, Roebuck or another one of their wingers. Probably am backing Slightham just given his form over the last 2 games. But we'll have to see what the England team says. If Slightham is on the bench or out, then he might be a pretty decent super sub pick. Talking of super sub picks, I have picked Elliot Daly. Obviously don't know who is on the bench at the moment. So that's my thinking, is just to pick like an England back 3 player. Will likely come on, let's say 50-60 minutes, 20 minutes against a tired Japanese team. I just like the sound of that. You could also go with a hooker, let's say it's Theo Dan on the bench. That would be a good ploy, loves to come on and carry the ball. So I'm undecided yet, really, is the trick. So I'm definitely going to be back in England, because again, very weak Japanese defence. But who is it going to be? Could be a back row, could be a hooker, i.e. Theo Dan, or looking likely at the moment, a back 3 player. So that is my team for week 3 of the Autumn Nations. As I said, England and Scotland teams are not out, so especially the fixture I want to back, which is England, Japan. I think it's just slightly provisional with regards to the English players, but we'll have to see. I'll obviously keep you guys informed as well, but let me know your picks down in the comments. Thanks all for watching, and thus far it's been a great Autumn Nations. Really appreciate all the comments, likes, but also just subscriptions as well to the channel. Really helps. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed, especially with a small growing channel. So let's keep it up the community, and I'll see you all in the next one.